Good morning, one and all. So, the last class we were discussing about the continent Europe. We will continue with that. So, already we had discussed about the location of Europe. So, it is north to Africa, west to Asia, south to Arctic Ocean and east to Atlantic Ocean. That means Africa's south side we can see this. Okay, Africa's south side, Asia's west side, Arctic Ocean's east side and Atlantic Ocean's west side. Now also I told you about the mountains of Europe. The main mountains of Europe are Alps, Pyrenees, Caucasian, Ural. Okay, the four mountains names: Alps, 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 Pyrenees, Caucasian, and Ural. There are many rivers in Europe. Some rivers names are Loire, Seine, Rhine, Elbe, Oder, Volga. In that Volga I told you the longest river. So many rivers are there. So as it is known as peninsulas, Norway and Sweden, they both together they are known as Scandinavian Peninsula. Already last class we wrote the keyword also, the definition of peninsula and the definition of example for peninsula. And also islands, many islands are there also in Europe. Example we wrote Great Britain. Same way Greenland there, Ireland there. These all are islands. Islands means a piece of land surrounded by water on all sides. Now coming to the climate of Europe. West Europe, westerlies already we came to know about the wind which blows from Atlantic Ocean. As it starts from west side, it is known as westerlies, warm winds, okay? Warm ocean currents, light showers. Showers means rain, lightly there will be rain also. Which side? West side of the Europe. South side of the Europe, Mediterranean climate because it is surrounded by the Mediterranean Sea. So a distinct separate climate is in that area. That climate is known as Mediterranean climate. And after the discovery of sea routes, many sea routes were there. Two major sea routes, land road and sea road. Land road through Middle East, Iran and Afghanistan. Through that area they have found the route, land route. And sea route means through Red Sea and Arabian Sea. Okay, these are the two major routes. One is land road and one is sea road. Land road is through Middle East areas like Iran, Afghanistan, that all they will pass. And sea road through Red Sea and Arabian Sea. And Industrial Revolution started in England around 1750. So automatically because of the invention of machines and everything, the development of Industrial Revolution, many trade was there with many countries, their colonies, especially in Asia, Africa and America. Already you know, we were under British rule for almost 200 years. We were a colony of the England, British. So, after the invention or after the development of Industrial Revolution, trade, business started to have more in their colonies, especially in Asia, Africa and America. Now coming to the Atlantic Ocean has a deep impact on the climate of Europe as well as on the life of and livelihood of the people of Europe. So because of the Atlantic Ocean, what things, how the Atlantic Ocean is affecting the climate of the European people, or how the life and livelihood of the European people is depending on Atlantic Ocean. For example, the impact of Atlantic Ocean on the climate of Europe. The westerlies, already I told you what is meant by westerlies. The winds which blow from the Atlantic Ocean. As it is blowing from west side, the name is given westerlies. So the westerlies, the winds which blow from the Atlantic Ocean are warm and moist. It is warm and at the same time it is moist also, water vapor content like that. So they keep the Western Europe warmer than the Eastern Europe. So because of this, the West Europe side is getting, or it is warmer comparing to the eastern side of the Europe. That is because of the westerlies. They also give showers to the Western Europe all the year around. So because of this Atlantic Ocean, the western side is getting showers, rain almost throughout the year. All the year around they are getting the showers, that means rain. As the North Atlantic drift originates near the equator, is very hot and keeps the Western Europe from freezing. So already you know the place which is near to the equator, it is getting more temperature comparing to the places which are far away from the equator. So the North Atlantic drift, it is actually originating from near the equator. So already you know, as it is very hot, because of that it keeps the Western Europe from freezing. If it was not like that, it would have been frozen areas like becoming ice. So to save from that, this North Atlantic drift is helping. Now the warm currents are also very good for fish breeding. So certain temperature is needed for fish to breed. So the warm currents are also very good for fish breeding, and as a result the fishing industry is very well developed in North Sea, especially near Britain. Okay, these are how the Atlantic Ocean is helping the climate of Europe as well as the life and livelihood of the people of Europe. Now, why or what is the reason why harbors are built in deep Gulf of bays? Harbor and port already you know, where big ships are coming and loading unloading from different countries, they are taking to one country, from this country they are taking the cargo to other country. So bay and gulfs are parts of the sea. Okay, bay and gulf, both words are very similar for you. So this bays and gulfs both are parts of the sea. It is enclosed by land on three sides. So it is just opposite to peninsula. Okay, peninsula means a piece of land surrounded by water on three sides and one side land. Bays and gulfs are enclosed by land on three sides. One side water. In bay the land curves inwards. Okay, and the mouth of the bay is usually wide as the Bay of Bengal we are having. So I told you bay and gulf both are covered by land on three sides, and the other side, one side which is inwards the mouth as bay is usually wide as Bay of Bengal. That is bay. Gulf is a narrow inlet of the sea and has narrow mouth. Bay has Bay of Bengal, like bay is having wide mouth, Gulf is having narrow mouth. Since the bays and the gulfs are protected from the storms, so because of its having of the location like that, the bays and the gulfs both are protected from the storms. Storm means already heavy wind. As it is protected from the storms of the high seas, they are very useful for building harbors. where ships can be safely anchored and cargo can be loaded and unloaded. Is it clear now? So, these bays and gulfs, they are protected from the storms of the high seas. So, as they are protected from the storms of the high seas, these bays and gulfs are useful for building harbors, and where there the harbor, the ships can be safely anchored and cargoes, whatever they are taking in the ship, it can be loaded and unloaded, okay, safely. Deep gulfs or bays are preferred for building harbors as large ships can be anchored in them. Deep, okay, so you know, ships, it cannot come as near to the land because its bottom will touch and it will overturn. So, to anchor such ships, we need deep, water must be deep. Deep gulfs or bays, they are preferred because such heavy big ships can be anchored in them. Also, ships need deep waters, already you know, just like a boat, we cannot take a ship near to the land. Ships need deep waters so that their bottoms do not touch the sea floor. If it touches the sea floor, it may be overturned and there will be lot of damage or something. So, in order to anchor or in order to, for a ship to anchor, it need deep water. That can be seen only in gulfs and bays. Okay, that's why harbors are built deep in the gulfs or bays. Now another one important thing what we are going to learn in this Europe lesson is, why are winters less severe in Western Europe than in Eastern Europe? That means Eastern Europe winter is very severe, very cold and everything. But in Western Europe it is less severe. What is the reason? So already the same thing I already told you about the westerlies. That means the wind which blow from Atlantic Ocean. Okay, that is westerlies. So westerlies, that means the wind which blow from Atlantic Ocean are warmer than land temperature. So comparing to land temperature, the westerlies, the wind which blow from Atlantic Ocean are warmer comparing to land temperature. So they affect the Western Europe, making it warmer. So with that, it is making the Western Europe to become more and more warm. The North Atlantic drift, which is originating from the equator, already I told you. The North Atlantic drift, which is originating near the equator and flows on the west of the Europe, also affect the climate of West Europe. The countries like Poland, Russia, they have severe winter, while the other side countries like France, Great Britain, they are having comparatively warmer. Okay, so the Western Europe is having less severity of winter comparing to Eastern Europe. That's why the countries we told example, the countries Poland and Russia, they are which side having? They are staying in the west of Europe. They are having severe winter comparing to the countries Great Britain and France, which is in the east side of. That's why it is entirely different. The climate is different from Western Europe and Eastern Europe. Now I told you about the Black Sea, Caspian Sea and everything. Okay. Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, names of some European countries which are located on the coast of the Black Sea. Now, European agriculture, what are the factors or how the European agriculture is going on, or what are the factors that limit European agriculture? In Europe, I told you the agriculture is not having that much. Why? What is the reason? The factors that limit the European agriculture are, the first one, mountains. I told you almost most of the parts are mountains. severe winters, when there is very cold like that, in such condition also, no crops will be grown, just like Arctic Ocean, Antarctic continent, you know that where there is more ice and snow, vegetation will be not applicable. Okay, it will not be possible. It will be severe. If we cultivate something also, it will be totally gone. It may not come up. Okay, so mountains, severe winters, then less agricultural lands are having there in that area. Okay. These are the main things that we have learned in this lesson. So, the last time we learned about some keywords. We wrote it two, I think. We will continue. Okay, example, Bay of Bengal. How can we give the definition of bay? Bay are part of the sea enclosed by land on three sides. Okay. Bay are part of the sea enclosed by land on three sides. Just opposite to peninsula, okay, enclosed by land on three sides. Example you can give Bay of Bengal. And the fourth side, it will be usually a more inward side. Current already, you know, tides, waves, currents already we learned that, okay, movements of water in a particular direction in a heavy streams. That is current. Gulf. Bay and Gulf already we learned in this lesson only how it is helpful for making harbors. So Gulf, what can we give the definition? Gulf is a narrow inland of the sea. Okay. So Gulf is a narrow inlet of the sea and has a narrow mouth. Bay of Bengal, Bay is having wide mouth. Gulf is having a narrow mouth. Okay. And the climate I already told you. The regular pattern of weather conditions of a particular place, climate and weather already you know, no need of such a definition and everything. Dikes. Dikes in two way you can write, okay, D-I-K-E-S or D-Y-K-E-S. Dikes means a long thick wall, okay, a long thick wall that is built to stop water flooding onto a low area of land, especially from sea or channel that carries water away from the land. So how can we give the definition? A long thick wall. Okay, a long thick wall that is built to stop water flooding. Stop water flooding. So I told you, especially from low areas to higher areas, to stop that water flooding, they are building a long thick wall that is known as dikes. Then westerlies, already I told you what is the definition of westerlies. The winds which blow throughout the year. Okay, as it is blowing from the west side, it is known as westerlies in the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, these are the main points what we have learned from this lesson. Go through the topics once again and revise whenever you get time. Okay, these are the main keywords today we have written. We will meet in the next class. Have a nice time. Stay home. Stay healthy.